Welcome once again, guys. It's your boy Indigo Child Max Chiwande. Another episode of Kids Cafe. I've got such an amazing guest with you. But before I tell you about this guest, let me just briefly give you an overview of who am I with today in the Africa Dumi Media Studio. Dr. Malusi MNCUBE is a postgrad doctoral research fellow in the Department of Politics and International Relations at the University of Johannesburg. His research focuses on global political economy and the fourth industrial revolution, decolonization, education, artificial intelligence, identity politics, and the intersection of Pan-Africanism, which I would love to tap in more, but sooner to this interview. Before transitioning to academia, Dr. Ncube gained extensive experience in corporate and in development sectors, specializing in finance, investing, banking, marketing. His professional and academic pursuits have taken across global and enriching perspective on international political and economic dynamics. He began his undergrad at the University of Johannesburg in 2015, being a 15. I was in like grade 9. Went to complete his honors, masters, and PhD. His doctoral research examines the the impact of emerging technologies of African governance and economic development, with a particular focus on the African Union integration and development agenda. Dr. Dr. Ncube is the author of the forthcoming or published book titled Uniting Africa, the Politics of Integrating and Developing Cooperation, and is currently working on his next book, BRICS and Decolonization, the Pivot of Multipolar World. He is also affiliated with several international organizations, including the Institute of Pan-Africanism. Doc,
How are you?
good, thanks yourself. How are you?
I'd like to say thank you very much for inviting me, and I'd like to say good afternoon to the viewers and audiences. Thank you for having me here.
No, thank you very much, Doc. I think we were supposed to schedule this sit down even beginning of the year, and I thank you for your patience. You know, when you're an independent podcasting a media house, finance and human capital become my constraints, but we're able to just maneuver around that. So I would like to get straight into it. Your book, Uniting Africa.
Absolutely.
Before explaining it, you had a seminar. Can I call it a seminar?
Actually, book launch.
Book launch.
Very successful.
Very successful.
Mm.
It was taking place at level 6, at library APK, and we had catered. So I'm currently interning at the UJ Library Events and Marketing and Podcasting, and we had catered for about 170 people. And he actually overloaded our venue, over 300 to close to even 400 people, if I'm not mistaken.
It was chock-a-block, yeah.
You were the only person that made the whole flow block. So tell me about this book, and tell me, why am I seeing a lot of young people engaging with this book?
I'm so excited. Before I jump into the topic, I brought the book with me. Should I get it out of my bag?
Please, where's your bag? Where's the book?
Can I get it out of my bag?
Yes, please,
Yeah.
please.
There we go.
Yes.
There we go.
So here's the book, guys. Here's the book, Uniting Africa. I don't know, man.
Right. We had a successful launch at University of Johannesburg, where I'm based. It was at Chinua Achebe, who was one of the iconic literary figures in Africa, on the 6th floor. It was chock-a-block, and it's the first time they've had it at University of Johannesburg. I think we had close to 400 people who came and supported me.
Yes.
Absolutely, and I presented the book, and we had a very robust contestation of ideas. People asked me a lot of questions, and it was a good mix of ages, both young and elderly. when it comes to knowledge, there's no age gap.
True.
Because we cross-pollinate each other in terms of knowledge. We need to feel the energy of the young and the experience of the elderly. And when you merge the two, you have a nuclear explosion of knowledge.
Wow.
So I was very excited, and the book is doing very, very well in the market. Absolutely.
Amazing.
And the title of the book, as you can see, it's Uniting Africa, the Politics of Regional Integration and Development Cooperation. So basically, the book is an audit about the situation of Africa. So we all need to know about what is happening in Africa right now. Like I'm saying, it's an audit.
Yes.
So we're auditing the political economy of South Africa, of Africa, and globally in the world.
Yes.
So by auditing, we need to know what is the health of our political economy. Do we have a lot of our people employed or unemployed? So we do a SWOT analysis whereby we do the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, only to find out that Africa right now at the present moment is very, very marginalized, very vulnerable, given the geopolitical shifts that are happening, the trade wars and the trade tariffs, and we need to do something about it. And there are a lot of young people came in and they asked questions. They wanted to know what is happening. And we traded ideas. We agreed where we agreed and we disagreed where we disagreed. But the whole idea is we planted seeds of knowledge in each other's brains. And this is very healthy.
It's truly amazing. I think you sparked some fire within me where it almost felt like if this man is saying we are ready to revolt, I was almost saying let's go, even though I'm saying not revolting violently, but I was saying I'm standing with you because this book really, I think I haven't given it much of a read, but from your book launch, it has so much content that I would really like you to just decipher for me a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Basically, I'm talking about the history of Africa. I give a historical background because any type of knowledge, even when you're doing your SWOT analysis, when you audit your situation, it could be your marriage, it could be your child, it could be anything, or it could even be your health. When you go to a doctor and tell the doctor, I've got this problem, they will always ask you, what is your background? Do you have this type of disease in your family? If you're looking for a job, they want your CV, where you got educated and all that. So what I was imparting or reminding the audience there, any type of analysis, or if you want to be a better person or wherever you're going to trade your skills, people always want to know your background. Let nobody tell you that history is not important. History with presence and into the future, those are inextricably intertwined. You cannot separate that. So your background is very important. Anything that you do, because your yesterday impacts your today.
True.
So yesterday is already history. 2 days ago is already history. So I was talking about our history as Africans, right? Before we were befallen by slavery, we were great empires, we were great people. And before there was even the continental drift, because for you to see Africa and to see the Americas, that's a continental drift through soil erosion, volcanoes, and all that. Long back, the Earth's crust was one. They used to call it Pangea.
Yes,
Pangea, it was
I
one.
wanted to mention
Yes,
that.
and within Pangea, I talk about it. Within Pangea, black people are the first people because of our melanin. All other races come from us. So you can be as white as Donald Trump, you can be as white as whoever. But if I trace your DNA genealogy way back, whether it's millions of years back, there is black ancestry to you. I introduce that a little bit so that people understand why that is important. Is because there's a contestation of winning your hearts and minds. That's how people dominate you if you do not have the right information, right? Because people think now just being white, it's the original color, not knowing that white people actually they were seeded, they were spawned by black people. So white people and black people, we were basically the same people. All races we are all human beings. That's why we're all born of men and women, and we must all die. And we procreate with each other, and we can teach each other's languages, which you can't do with animals. There's no animal that can speak Zulu or Sotho or whatever. But you take a Ghanaian, you take a Nigerian, you take Donald Trump. If he comes here, if he gives himself time, he can end up knowing Zulu or Sotho. But you can take a bull terrier dog, it will never, it can breathe the same oxygen, but it will never speak Zulu, Afrikaans, or any other language in the world. So it's important to know the history of humanity from a DNA perspective and what happened to Africa. And basically what happened now when slavery came, this is when things started going wrong, right? When we were enslaved, not that we didn't fight, we fought until right up to today, but a lot of horrible things happened to us. But within that, we started fighting. Then there was colonialism. So from that time up to now, we've resisted. I talk about it there. Once again, it's important to know history. So we are in the present situation right now. Most of the youngsters, some of the youngsters are born after in the 90s or after 1994 in South Africa. South Africa is the last country to be liberated, so to speak. Yes. And we have the 2000s. So they need to understand their history. So I need them to understand that history is so sacred, right? Because they can also tell you, good, no. Right now, I'm leaving, I stay in Pretoria, but I used to stay in Soweto before I moved to Pretoria. That is history coming into impacting your presence. So you have to know our history as a people. Otherwise, other people will tell you that you do not have a history. So I've belabored the point. So then we started fighting for our freedom, anti-colonial struggles. And most African countries, they did play a part. And one of the greatest people who played a part in the liberation of the whole of Africa is Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana. Right. He said the liberation of Ghana means nothing without the total liberation of the whole of Africa. But also not before, he was preceded by others as well, by people like Marcus Garvey from Jamaica, who stayed in the Americas, by people like Patrice Lumumba from the Congo, Malcolm X, W. Du Bois, Frantz Fanon, Henry Sylvester William, and so on and so forth. So all these people you need to know, they must become our ancestors who fought so that we can have this conversation today. When I speak their name, I'm bringing them alive. We must know them. What is it they did? Not that they were perfect. They had their strengths. Remember, it's a SWOT analysis. We learn from their strengths. And we pick up their weaknesses and we improve on their weaknesses. And we are facing threats today. We can see what's happening in the DRC. We can see what's happening in Sudan, genocide. We can see what's happening in Gaza. So if it can happen in Sudan and Gaza, it can happen in South Africa. There's already movements of wanting to split South Africa and having Cape independence. Things like that. So we need to be careful, right? South Africans or Africans, we mustn't think we're exceptional. We are living in very dangerous times. And I speak about it here, about the liberation of Africa. So Ghana and the Organization of African Unity played a part in the liberation struggle of the whole of Africa for us to be where we are today. Absolutely.
Okay. What is the whole objective of the book now for a young man that's trying to also be a Pan-Africanist?
The whole objective is that, for instance, there's power in unity. And if you remain single, there is no power, right? I'll give you an example. For instance, I want young Africans to be globally ambitious. Because when you're globally ambitious, you've got power. China managed to be a superpower in 46 years. Now ask yourself a question. Does it make a sense if you open up a business, a sole proprietor business, you open up your business, you start as a single person, right? And you are selling, let's say, fat cooks. And you see that they're doing very well and you need to expand, right? Now you are just selling in your area in Soshanguve or in Soweto, but seeing that people like it or somebody approaches and say, hey, they taste nice. I can help you with your marketing strategy so that a lot of people can buy your product, right?
Yes.
A lot of people can buy your product. What does that person do? He opens up a website for you. Right? Yes. He opens up a website for you. You interface with all social media. You interface with all print and electronic media. Before you even know it, you get orders from all over South Africa. Now you're no more a sole proprietorship. Your distribution has to be different and all that, meaning that, and other shareholders will want to come into business. I'm proving a point that where there's unity, there's greater leverage, there's greater power. You cannot just remain as South Africa alone within the global economy. You won't win because there's what they call global value chains and regional value chains, right? So if South Africa discusses a business with China, for instance, on its own, or with America on its own, South Africa's economy, its GDP, it's about 500 billion. It's nothing. It's a pittance.
I think Israel makes that much.
It's a pittance. It's nothing. So if our children, if our people are globally ambitious, don't ask yourself a question. Don't we want as South Africans or as Africans to be a superpower like China? Are we not that ambitious? Or we just want to remain as Zimbabwe, as Lesotho, and being taken advantage of? So if we are globally ambitious, then it means we have to come together. We have to have one currency, one central bank, one army. And even if we're going to allow free movement of people, we're going to do it intelligently, not recklessly. We have to up our game in terms of our security, biometric registration, because yes, some amongst us are irresponsible, some are criminals, and all that. So we have to take care of that. So what am I saying when you do a comparative analysis? There is more to be gained in our unity than when we do not engage in our unity. So Africans, I am imploring you, we have to be globally ambitious if we want to emulate China, if we want to emulate Russia, if we want to emulate America so that we are a global power. So we have to be as one, and we have to work at it. It's not going to happen in one day. It's inch by inch every day. It's messy business because some people don't want us to be like that. And why am I saying that? Because the economy of the whole of Africa, South Africa included, it's not owned by us, the majority of Africans.
Yes.
It's owned by imperialists, by the very people who colonize us. All these multinationals that run all the companies in South Africa, in Africa, all of them, right? Yeah, all of them, no exception. They are owned by the Americans and by the Europeans, the British. Now, if as a youth, you are not worried by that, I can tell you, even all the gadgets that are here, I'm so happy, I'm so excited to see the youth. You are working on these gadgets and all that. But I can, no. I want to make a point. But all the gadgets that are here, none of them are being manufactured by Africans.
And those that are manufactured, they're not as quality as.
Yeah, but they are not manufactured by Africans. All the cars that are in Africa doesn't even have its one brand car. We've got brands of the Americans, we've got brands of the Japanese, of the South Koreans. When are we going to have our own African brands and compete with others? So it could be it could be gadgetry, electronic gadgetry, it could be your cell phones, it could be your computers. We know that everything that is Africa is licensed and owned by the very people who colonize us. And if you're not worried and you say you are at university or you are a matriculant, you got educated, and you don't ask yourself that pivotal question, then it means you are colonized, your spirit, your intellect, your brain, and everything you're colonized, and you have to wake up from your sleepless slumber. And this is what I'm doing, is to wake up Africans so that we become a global power.
Is that what?
That's what the book is about.
Oh, so
yes,
you're now maybe targeting whitewashed, if I can say, people that have been colonized or people that have been what can I say, psychologically westernized.
I'm targeting everybody.
Okay.
I'm targeting even myself. I'm targeting everybody. Remember, when you do an audit,
yes,
every day, as Dr. Malusi, to be a better person tomorrow and tomorrow, I have to audit myself consciously and subconsciously so that I become a better person, right? So it's not just people who are colonized. Everybody is audited in this book, is to make yourself a better person. How does a soccer team become, or a boxer become a better boxer? Because they have a coach, and a coach's assistants, when they look how you box or how you play soccer, they will be giving you ideas. That is auditing in motion. Good, no, you box like this, be careful of this, watch this, and the companies do that. Even the very same multinational corporations here, from time to time, they have executive board meetings, they sit, they strategize. If this strategy didn't work, they sit down and do this. This is what I want my people to be seriously doing, but not only at national level, which is important, at South African level, at Angolan level, but they must also do it at continental and global level. Why global level? Because, for instance, the budget we have here in South Africa, right? The budget, when the government does a budget every year,
yes,
that they're going to spend to create jobs, to do this and that, the money doesn't come just from South Africa. South Africa has to trade. It has to sell its goods and services all over the world. Now, when you're selling your goods and services all over the world, your goods and services must be competent because they compete with other goods. right? Right. So now, if you're not going to be educated, if you're not going to learn other ideas from other people, how are you going to compete? It means your budget will become smaller and smaller. And with South Africa's budget, right, from 2021, it has become smaller and smaller. Anyone can Google right here and even tell me South Africa's economy from last year to this year, it's grown about 0.8%, which is about 1%, right? That is not growth. That is not growth. It's not going to do even a dent to create job creation. Joblessness amongst majority black South Africans is at 60%. That's
crazy.
That it's not even crazy.
Definitely.
That is clear and present danger, my friend. This is serious. You cannot have 60% of the youth not working, right? And the South African economy is still being controlled by the architects of apartheid, meaning that we haven't overhauled the economic structure of, and you, the youth, must do something about it.
So how can
This is what I'm talking about here.
And decolonization becomes one of the main structures you talk about the book.
The auditing is decolonization.
And as a person that is born free and born in times where apartheid is over, how do I...
Apartheid was never over, and they're not born free. It's a misnomer.
It's a
misnomer.
How do you think someone like myself can tackle decolonization without making the other people kind of segregated in any way? How do you think we can tackle decolonization?
When we speak, I'll answer the question of decolonization. When you speak of the black majority, yes, we're not discriminating any other races. If you look at the liberation movements of Africa,
yes,
right, even other races,
yes,
as much as we're speaking about black majority rule, yes, there were other races
that
spoke about that, because that is the reality, because we are the majority. Right now, the economic benefits of South Africa and Africa, like I said, multinationals own. They are being enjoyed by people who are not indigenous to Africa, right? We cannot be apologetic about that. We must onwardly, repeatedly speak about black majority, right? Because when you go to the United States of America, right, the people there, they control their economy. When you go to England, they control their economy. When you go to China, they control their economy. They're not apologetic. When you go to North Korea, they control. But when you come here, they'll tell you about private property and that is nonsense. That is rubbish. Because when we're fighting for what is truly ours, and I'm telling this to the youth, don't let anyone intimidate you. It's going to be messy business at some point in time. I'll give you a good example. Somebody who's shown in real time what needs to be done in Africa. Ibrahim Traore, right?
Captain.
Yes, he took over from the at the age of 35. Age of 35. Look what wonders he's done, right? Because if you keep on going to talk about it and these people are not taking you serious, nothing is going to happen. So we are not being discriminatory when we say black majority, right? But those who in majority and they are indigenous must run the economies, the political economies of their country. Our youth must not be apologetic about that. Oliver Tambo said that. Steve Biko said that. Robert Sobukwe said that. Kwame Nkrumah said that. Malcolm X said that. Marcus Garvey said that. So there is nothing. I want black people not to be apologetic. They must be beautiful, confident, and keep on fighting this, as exactly Ibrahim Traore is showing you how it has to be done. Unfortunately, among some of our black leaders who are there in the whole of Africa, some of our leaders are puppets and are selling out Africa and are selling out the future of our children, right? So to the youth, I'm telling you again, some of these old people are not going to do it for you because they are entangled. Some of them, they've sold their souls to France, to America. They've got their monies there and all that. They are really, really compromised. You will have to do what Traore has done in so many ways to put pressure on the leadership of some of Africa's leaders here, because some of our leaders have compromised the youth of what's called of Africa. I'll give you an example. People can disagree with me. This is what I strongly believe. I don't care who says what. You cannot have billionaires, people who are 50, 60, 70 years old, and they are billionaires and they are proud to be billionaires, right? And education is not free in Africa. Healthcare is not free in Africa. And we don't have a basic income grant of every African. At least every African should be getting at least 3,000 if they're not working. And I'm not saying they must just be given this money. They can be intelligently given this money after they've done a public duty and they get it every month. Because I want to take you into this dream world. I want you to imagine somebody who's a billionaire. You have to get to 600 million, 700 million, 800 million, 990 million, 991 million, 995 million, 999 million, 1 billion. And that person is a billionaire. And you have Africans living in poverty like this. And we, the very Africans and the youth, you are cowards if you are cowards. And we are giving accolades to these African leaders who are billionaires. For what? It's nonsense. We cannot afford to do that, right? We cannot. All the public goods I've mentioned, what are those public goods? Free education from primary right up to university, training, healthcare, basic income grant, etc., etc. Hence, then we can start to have traction and movement. So the youth has to challenge that. With unemployment sitting at 60%, with our economy not being owned by us, the youth, if you do not stand up for yourself, nobody's going to stand up for you.
And I wanna understand.
This is what I'm talking about in my book.
Yes, and I wanna understand. In part of the international relations systems, I relate a bit more with realism, liberalism, bit of Marxism. As a realist, for decolonization to happen, for us to cease, I'm not saying we are promoting violence, but blood has to be shed. Do you think blood has to?
Let me give you a quick example.
Yes.
For Africa to be liberated, because the systems that we've put there, and the constitution and everything, right? They did not maintain the suppression of black people through some type of philanthropic system. Yes. Colonialism and neo-colonialism, it's a murderous enterprise. These so-called civilized people from Europe and America, they are murderers, mass murderers. Hence, you hear the word genocide. That's why South Africa took the case to the ICJ, International Court of Justice, for instance, for the issue of Gaza. Because children are being mass murdered. They want to take Gaza by force.
By force.
Right? So I'll give you an example. If you heard Donald Trump, what he said when he was being interviewed, everybody can Google this. He was sitting with Netanyahu and they were interviewing him. We will take over Gaza and the Palestinians must go to Egypt and to Lebanon. We'll take it, build a Riviera, make it a beautiful place and even own it. Do you see how insensitive they are into other people's land? And Donald Trump is not the first one to carry out that large scale type of, if you go into a history, the Herero by the Germans.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Number two, the demon Leopold. What it is, you can go on and on and on and on. The massacres here in Sharpeville, here in South Africa, right? So when they take your property, what is yours, then they will put their constitution and say, this is private property, you must follow the rule of law. Oh, we follow the rule of law after you've done a Gaza on us.
On us.
You know, right? So this is what I'm saying to the young people. Young people, this world is a messy world. You can see the so-called civilized people. Look at what they are doing in Sudan right now. Look what they are doing in Gaza. After they've taken and their properties are fixed, they'll come up with constitutions and say human rights. This is what Traore went against. He saw that doesn't work. They tried to say, no, but Traore, you are not democratic. He said, I'm not democratically elected for whose benefit? And Traore, he made a coup. So even of our liberation movements, right? From your MK to APLA to Zipra to the one SWAPO of Namibia, all those, they confronted them through force. So don't let anybody tell you that force doesn't work, but it has to be intelligent force led by people who are intelligent and know what they are doing. Because the same thing as well, that's what these imperialists do. If you don't do what they ask you to do, what did they do to Libya? Did they not crush Libya and destroy it? Why are you all quiet about it? Who's taking America and NATO to court? Who's doing that? Nobody's doing that. When they destroyed Iraq and they murdered over 1 million people, innocent civilians in Iraq, who's taking them to court? Huh? And I want to correct you. There is a correct type of violence. It is there. For instance, what Traore has done. Okay. That's why his whole people love him. Because the very people who were talking about terrorism, the very French and the Americans who were in Burkina Faso, they are the ones who are sponsoring all these terrorist groups.
On your book launch, you spoke much, and you spoke in so much emphasis and enthusiasm about nuclear, about us having nuclear weaponry. What's your take on South Africa having nuclear?
No. It's very, very important. I don't personally. Yes, we can agree to disagree as scholars, as people. We disagree. It's very, very important. For instance, you have the United Nations Security Council, and all the members of the United Nations Security Council. I want to name them very quickly.
Yes.
The United States of America, it's United Kingdom, it's China, it's Russia. And the fifth one, it's just slipped my mind. There's the fifth one. All of them, they are nuclear powers. All of them, they are nuclear powers, right? And nuclear power capabilities used as a deterrent. Nobody can just come and attack you because they know you've got nuclear weapons. Now they want to come and tell you as babies, no, South Africa, you can't have nuclear weapons. Now I'm not a baby.
True.
Right? Even if I go tomorrow, I have to leave a legacy for my children, right? Right? North Korea has nuclear weapons. As small as they are, they manage to have nuclear weapons. That's why America cannot just go in there and attack them. So why are we not having nuclear weapons? Well, they continuously tell you don't have nuclear weapons. And we want to listen to that nonsense for what?
And I also have a theory about how the trying to use feminism as a way to put their masculinity in danger. I have this saying that says, I made it up, it's just purely my opinion. When barbarics are at the door, masculinity ceases to be toxic, meaning that if a country like America impose their ideologies of feminism, LGBTQ plus, which I'm very inclusive of, but imagine if all men could just be feminine and stuff. Who else is going to protect us? Who are the men? What are you saying? What's your take on masculinity being in danger?
Look, the West can do whatever it wants. If those are their values, I've got nothing to do with that. That is them.
Yes.
But with us, Africans here in Africa, even before they colonized us and enslaved us, we have our values. I want to repeat something to the audience.
Yes.
If you are a people, what makes you a people is because you've got your culture and values that you pass from generation to generation. Yes, some will change, but you've got your pivoted values, your very important values. That's what makes you people amongst people, right? Unless you just drift with wherever the wind blows. That's why you'll get abused by other nations. You must have your values, whether they laugh about it and all that. So as Africans, we have our values, and our ancestors coined those values from Cape to Cairo. I'm sure you've heard of the word Ubuntu. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. And within those values, we have how we get married, we have how we plant crops, we have how we relate to our aunties, our relatives, and our burials, our ceremonies. We have our ways, right? So why should they force? Obviously, if they see that you are weak, they will force their ways on you, right? And it's very natural for different geographic localities to have their own values. If you go to Saudi Arabia, because they've got their own values. China, they have their own values. In the United States, their own values. In England, in Norway, where it's cold, they have their own values. We have our own values. Now, why are we not protecting when other nations are protecting their own values? Huh? They even create their own cars and their own aeroplanes. The little that we have to hold on to our own values. No, we just go with the wind. We follow whatever Uncle Sam, whatever the Americans or whatever the British say. If it adds positively to the toolkit of culture of Africans, if it's positive, we embrace it. But if it's there to destroy the African culture, our cohesiveness, our unity, we do not have to follow, because we are thinkers. Our ancestors were thinkers. For our ancestors to have reached the word Ubuntu, umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, if you analyze that and unpack that, when they sat down and said Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu, That is the highest philosophy in life. So we have to protect those values. So whatever the Americans want to do, or their ruling elite, if they want to dance with pigs in the pigsty, that is their choice. We don't tell them what to do, but they mustn't come to Africa and tell us what to do. And on that aspect, I want to praise some of the African leaders.
Yes.
When it came to certain values, they were trying to compromise African values, from Mugabe to Museveni and all that. And Chris, they said we are Africans. We have a certain way how we do our things. If there are mistakes, we have a certain way how. Don't come and tell us what to do with our values. So that's all what I can say right now.
Before I close up on the book, is there any details that because I've also just a few questions,
right? Yeah,
that I've set up besides the book. Is there anything more that you think I've left out in the book that?
No, you haven't left out anything. I just want to say to the audience and viewership, I'm very passionate about this, and I'm sure they can see that I'm sweating. I'm sweating. I'm very spiritual about this. Very, very important. And I want the youth to study. I'm not saying they must agree everything with what he's doing, but our ancestors have given us a living example in Ibrahim Traore. I want them to study Ibrahim Traore, not blindly, and learn what is positive from him. If he has any weaknesses, improve on those weaknesses. But I would like to say Ibrahim Traore, he's one of the bravest, smartest, because he demonstrates love, true love for Africans, true love for people. And when I talk love, I'm not talking Hollywood type of love. True love is building your people, building your mothers, building your sisters, building your African family, making us people, making us proud again, remembering our ancestors, immortalizing our ancestors, who we are, what we are as Africans. We don't care what any other nation says. I'll give you an example. The other time, Donald Trump was belittling an African country. And it's not just an African country. You are saying it to African people. Says, we are giving a lot of our money to a country nobody has heard about. Lesotho. Yeah, right.
50 million.
Africans must know that was not directed at Lesotho. It's to Africans. And at one time he said, she told countries in Africa. So we must protect who we are, and we must walk with pride who we are. That's what I want to say. So to the youth of Africa, you now have social media. You can connect continentally. You can connect globally. You better rise up.
And we are connecting with thinkers and philosophers like yourself.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate it.
And some of you go and visit Burkina Faso. And some of you go and meet Ibrahim Traore.
Yes.
I encourage you, go and meet him. It's a democratic right. South Africa, it's not illegal. Go and meet him and ask him some of his ideas. So if you can live as a group of university students on a research, if you leave 1,000 and you go and spend a week in what you call in Burkina Faso and talk to Ibrahim Traore, and he knows, because he's at the core face of the revolution of Africa, he will tell you what are the problems. It's important for youth to get off from your laurels and go and meet one of the greatest revolutionaries Africa has produced, Ibrahim Traore, who's still alive right up to now today.
Wow.
I quickly want to say,
yes,
we love you, Ibrahim Traore.
We love you.
Yeah, because you are not just an individual. You are a cumulative fact of all of our ancestors, the Krisanis, the Sabelo Palmers, and the Nyereres, everybody who's fought for the liberation of Africa. So we thank you for keeping the torch lighted and passing on the baton to the youth. So the youth, I encourage most of you, go to Burkina Faso and see if you can interact. I don't know how you can do it. Use your imagination, but make sure you see him whilst he's still alive. Thank you.
If you're granted any 3 historical leaders, who would they be and what would you want to discuss?
With me, there are more than 3, because even in one African leader, there are 1,000, because we are a sum total of our ancestors. For instance, I would put Nkosi Bambata. He was a Zulu warrior. He immediately saw that the imperialists, they were out to take South Africa, and he faced them, Colfax, and in many battles. Him, I'll also put Marcus Garvey.
Oh, Marcus Garvey.
Yes. I'll also
I need to do some more research about him.
I'll also put Malcolm X. I'll also put Nyerere, Amilcar Cabral. Francis Fanon is my favorite. Francis Fanon, Steve Biko, Chris Hani, Dr. Agostina Neto of Angola, Mbuya Nehanda of Zimbabwe, Queen Nzinga of Angola. All those. And it's important for our youth to know them, and like you're doing makeup if you're a lady, they must stay in your mind and heart every day. Find out all your ancestors, they are there. Because the more you know them, their spirit will live in you. Very important.
What drives your passion for humanity and social justice, Dr. Malusi?
The greatest thing to me, I've learned in life, because when you move forward in life, even when you look back, when you do an audit, even when the day I close my eyes and die, I don't want to be regretful to say, oh, I murdered 20,000 people. I murdered 6 million people. I don't want that memory. Yes, this is not what my ancestors have told me. This is not what I want to be say, as much as I was not perfect, but I managed to contribute to what my ancestors taught me, that umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. I managed to make you and all the other youth much smarter than me, much more powerful than me, much more brave than me, much more sharing better than me. You managed to share with the community. You managed to do much better, much more educated than me. This is what would make me happy, definitely.
Tapping into your global perspectives, you've traveled around.
Yeah, I have.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which country left the biggest impression on you and why?
All of them, actually.
I think.
No. For me, all of them. I don't want to lie. I can mention.
Give me a space.
Yeah, no, I'll give you. All right.
Okay, I think it's more naming them.
No, I'll name them quickly. I'll do it very, very quickly. I was exiled in Botswana. I met Botswana people very.
Yes, you did tell me.
Yes, elderly people, nice people, and all that. They live in your repository of memory, certain values and cultures. For instance, though, you get to a village, you are like a refugee, you're not on the run. They look after you, they love you, and all that. They don't push you away, right? They keep you safe and all that. For me, that is important. It's not just intellectual. Yes. In Botswana. In Lesotho, very important. The same thing happened to me. I was based in Kasha's Neck with the border of Matatiele. Zimbabwe as well. I was based in Harare. We were looked after very well. Zambia, looked after very well. East Germany, West Germany, met nice people. And I want to go back to this thing when I speak about black majority. In East Germany and West Germany, during those days, we worked with white people who supported black majority, right? And helped us in so many ways, raising funds and doing that for us. So when we speak black majority, we're not speaking discrimination, no. And in the States as well, and also in China. So I've been all over. I've met individuals, single people, beautiful people, people, some of the people whom we met, they gave their lives. So with me, it's been all over the world.
Yes.
I judge a person on merit. By their character. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely.
More than anything. Let me just, sorry about that. I had this one question. I don't know. If someone is new to Pan-Africanism thought, who should they start learning, and how can they get involved as a let's speak it as someone who doesn't know what is Pan-Africanism. How can they get involved, and who do you think you can direct them to?
It's very simple these days. Yes. Your generation lives in an age of fourth industrial revolution, digital communications and all that. Yes. So basically you're just going to Google and write Pan-Africanism organizations.
Oh, okay.
Right. It will give you organizations in South Africa, in Zambia, in Malawi, in America, and you start interacting with them.
Okay.
And already those who are listening to me already, I've told you what Pan-Africanism is all about. Yes. It's simply, if we've quarreled as a family, you've got your wife, and you've got your 10 children, you've made 10 children, it doesn't mean it's going to be smooth sailing. right? When another 4 sons have left and said, dad is too hard, dad is cruel to mommy, and they leave and all that, maybe the mother thinks, because there will always be someone who thinks, say, hey, let me bring my family together. As Africans, we do have families together. My sons have been away for 3 years, they haven't come home. The mom does behind the scenes thing, phones the sons, come see your father, man, he's old now, he's getting sick, things like that. Why is she bringing? Because there is strength when we are together. There is love when we are together. There is confidence when we work together, right? Now, with Africans, we share the same history, the DNA history. And I want to talk about that, the DNA biological history, because you are all educated, and even those who are listening, take any human being, take any African, even here in South Africa, anyone here in the studio, I can take you right now and you tell me, no, I'm from Rustenburg. Fine, yes, you are from Rustenburg. If I do a DNA trace of you 1 million years back, I want to ask you that. If I do a DNA test, you are from there, from Luke. If I do a DNA test of you going back 1 million years back, is it fair to say, as a scholar, because in scholarly terms, you do what you call an assumption, can you say 1 million years back, your great parents were still there in Luca? 1 million years back. I'm trying to make a point here. So I'm asking you, if I go 1 million years back and you are from Rustenburg, were your parents still there 1 million years back? Yes. So you'll find that probably 1 million years back, you were somewhere from the Middle East. Your forefathers. Not even in Africa, maybe the Middle East. Remember, I talked about the continental drift.
Pangea.
Yeah, the first world was one. Then it slowly splits, volcanoes and all that. So this is what I'm talking about, right? So when you use DNA biology to track who you really are, right? Human beings, that's why we are one. That's why our ancestor says, Ubuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Number 2, it's very important. Pan-Africanism means unity. Africans, right now, we are being marginalized. We do not run our economy. We don't. That's why we have 60% of our youth in South Africa not working. So when we sit down and we have a strategic plan, when you run businesses, you have what you call strategic plan. How are we going to solve the South African situation? How are we going to trade better? Are we going to trade better if we just work only as Africans to trade to other African countries and globally, or if we come together as Africans and cross-pollinate ideas? How are we going to make a competent global club? How are we going to do it when we come together? Then we can talk about the means. How do we come together and all that? We brainstorm these things. We talk intelligently with these things. And everything in life that is done, I don't care what it is you do, everything in life has a risk. Everything, whether it's your studies, whether it's your marriage, whatever. But you have ways intelligently of minimizing your risk. So Africans, you better get together. African youth, you better get together and use your social media and digital media and go and visit Ibrahim Traore whilst he's still alive. Get together as African youth and take charge of this country. Take charge of Africa. You can do it. When Chris Hani was a commander of Lutuli Detachment, he was about 25 years old.
Saras?
Yes.
I'm struggling.
Yes, in the Amstrad. He was 25 years old. And he had already graduated from Rhodes University at 25.
Wow.
Traore took over Burkina Faso at 35. So the youth mustn't tell me it cannot be done.
So are you trying to tell me that we're a bit behind?
No, I'm not saying you're behind. No.
Because when you look at some of our great leaders, they were doing absolutely beautiful stuff. And some of us here.
No. I know. Even now, there's youth right now who are brave, who do certain things, and some of them have been assassinated. I'll give an example. Maybe many of you know about him. He was assassinated because he was speaking against corruption. Makaka. Yeah, he was, that must be appreciated. It takes bravery. Like I said, it's going to be messy business. The youth mustn't think just by talking and articulate. That is important. But at some point in time, they have to find ways of putting pressure for them. Because this thing of having 60% unemployment in South Africa, it's not on.
Speaking about, sorry to jump off corruption.
Yeah.
To jump off, I would like to just touch up a bit of corruption. I was attending an OGC corruption summit where they were just disclosing the disadvantages of corruption and how it trickles down service delivery, people not getting what they are supposed to be assigned to. My question leaves Uguti, who becomes the custodians of overseeing all of this? I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, you make sense. Right. Part of why we...
And also, they elaborated on this word called whistleblowers on
right.
corruption,
All right, yeah.
which we are trying to find a way and a word to word whistleblowing, because whistleblowing is deemed as this negative impimpi or imenemene.
No, I hear what you're saying.
You know,
I want to say to the youth again, you can deal with the problems of South Africa and Africa in silos, little by little, here and then there. You won't get much traction. And it means, for me, you are not being very serious. Taking control of South Africa and taking control of Africa as youth, it's very possible. Let me finish my point. I'm answering your question. So it's very important that you must be organized. You must be highly, highly organized as a youth. Again, I'll go back to Ibrahim Traore. Yeah. All these things you're talking about, the whistleblowers and all these things, they were there in Burkina Faso. But him and a group of other guys decided that we're going to do something highly organized, highly structural and systematic, and take over and do something that is for the benefit of all people. So it's the youth. It's the youth. And the more the youth are inactive, they sit down and they say, no, we'll fix it and all that. And there's so much corruption. It means the youth are allowing that room for corruption. But if the youth create an enabling environment of pressure, of saying, we will not have this. Do you see what the youth in Kenya are doing?
They're taking back their land.
Yes. So if they say, no, NEFSA's education in South Africa will be free. And they won't be just by being in the streets every day. If it means they have to be in the streets every day for 3 months. No, government. Education will be free. Our hospitals will work. You will create jobs for our people. And the youth, you can create your own ideas. And again, help you map those ideas. They are there. The money is there. Hence, I said to you in the beginning, you have African leaders who are billionaires. And you have 60% of no youth not working. And also, I blame the youth a little bit because they're being timid. Because you allow these billionaires to be there, you sit, and at the same time you're not working, you've got a master's degree, you sit and you're not organizing. You have to show agency.
Can I say something on that? It really becomes difficult for a young man myself going to a CEO, explaining what I want to do. And I think funding becomes one of the things that we
Can I stop you right there, my brother? Yes. Remember, I said the youth must be globally ambitious.
Yes.
The youth must take over all the levers of running Africa, running the country. It can be done. When our leaders ran South Africa, none of them had any experience of running government. Some were from jail, from exile.
Yes.
Right. Meaning that they went in, what they did not know, they were researching.
Yes.
And they did it. Now, with you, from 1994, you've got at least the benefit that you've had an experience, and most of you are matriculants, have got degrees, right? I'm seriously talking about, I'm not talking about looking at the symptoms. I'm talking about the youth going for the root cause. I want to see the youth running the Reserve Bank of South Africa.
Wow.
Yes. No, yes. There's no wow about it.
You can do it.
Yes. What you don't know, you research. Right? And these elderly people can sit as advisory. You, the youth, you take over. There's a lot of graduates. You can do it. I want to see having a young president in South Africa of about 28, 30 years. It's not impossible. They will tell you, no, it's impossible. Don't have experience. Wait a minute. When you came out from Robben Island, you never had experience on how to run a country. At least I, as a youth of 30 years, I've got a master's degree, I have experience, I've seen you cause corruption. But if you, the youth, are not going to be courageous, because it takes courage. If you're not going to be courageous and you organize, because it takes organization, you have to organize each other. You have to organize each other and articulate your ideas with courage, without fear. They will try and intimidate you and do this. You must hold on to it. It's messy business. If you're not going to do that, I'm telling you, you'll stay for 7 years, 10 years with your masters and nothing will be happening. Again, I will mention Ibrahim Traore. Go and study what he's done. You can see what he's done. And if you, the youth, you are not prepared to do that, you are part of the problem. It means you are cowards. If you don't want to do anything, if you are going to be allowing billionaires to be billionaires, they tell you, and you have another youth saying, oh, my dad is a billionaire, we're going to Switzerland. No, I'm just saying, and you guys are not doing anything about it. You are not organizing. You must organize. And to some extent, parliamentary politics really doesn't get you anywhere, according to me. And I want you to hear. No, let me answer that very, very quickly. Parliamentary politics, and I want the youth to listen to me very carefully. Yes, it can be beneficial, but in Africa, on a transformatory basis, it's not beneficial. It's a site of plunder for the elite, because everyone who goes into parliament, whether people vote you in or they come and campaign, right? And I'm talking about the whole of Africa. They go into parliament. When you go into parliament, your salary is what? It's guaranteed. Your lifestyle and your benefits and all that, right? And once they're in there, they slowly forget you, right? This is what Ibrahim cut off. They forget you, these people, because they're earning their money and all that. And they are no more doing what you told them. They are mandate. They're not working on their mandate. So personally, when it comes to parliamentary politics, personally, I think it's nonsense, right? Africa cannot afford parliamentary politics because it's very divisive. For now, I think the way of Ibrahim Traore, the revolutionary way.
But he's promoting anarchy at the same time.
Who's promoting anarchy?
I would say, but that's my view.
No. Who? I want to understand who.
Ibrahim Traore. Because
give an example. Where is he promoting anarchy?
For him to dismiss the French, mustn't that take military power or some sort of deterrence from him or from Burkina Faso to say, we need you guys to leave? Because it's not like the French are just going to leave open-handedly. So don't you think there will be a bit of a conflict? And I'm speaking from this as, please, like, give me more knowledge.
Do you know what are the benefits since he took over 2 years that he's taken? Yes. Do you know what he's done?
What?
Because look, a tree shall be known by its fruits, right? Yeah. If I'm an investor and I invest in your business ideas, we are only investors here. We put money. I give you 400,000 rands, and I tell you, I want after every year, I want a profit of 100,000, right? If every year you are giving me after deductions, tax, and all that, you're giving me my 100,000, it means you are capable. Because you came to me as an investor. Now, before you making that statement, do you know the structural benefits that Ibrahim Traore has done for Burkina Faso? Do you know them?
Not intensely.
Yes. Okay, I'll give you one example and I can give you many. For instance...
Let's do one because we are running out.
Okay, no, it's fine. I'll do it very quickly. For instance, uranium, which is used for processing electricity and all that, right? Uranium, when the French were in control, like I'm saying, all multinationals, right?
Francophones.
Yeah. France was selling it to the global market, uranium per kilogram, right? Per kilogram, they were selling it for $280 per kilogram. And they were giving Burkina Faso 80 cents out of that 280.
Crazy.
No, let me finish. I want to show you the structural. So when he took over, he was going to change that structural setup. When he took over and said the French must leave, he was basically saying to the French, we are going to sell it on. Now he's selling it on the market, processing, they're all going, refining everything of theirs, and he's selling that uranium at 280. And all that money is benefiting. That's why education now in Burkina Faso, from primary to varsity, it's free. Health, everything, there's tractors, there's farming, it's happening. That's why I'm saying you should go there. Even your team, your recording team, you must go there. You must go there and spend like a month and come and do a documentary what's happening in Burkina Faso.
We'll send you, Jay.
We don't need the French, my brother. I want to say that unapologetically. We don't. When we need the French, when that time comes, when we're going to work with the French, with the British, the colonizers and all, we work with them according to our terms.
So,
and you must be confident about your terms.
True. And let's not make money the forefront of it, because I think our political leaders taking this thing off.
No, the money is the forefront, but the money is for the people.
Yes.
For the people. I'll repeat,
Yes.
the money is for the people.
Yes.
For the people.
Not for the.
If you watch the Chinese march when there was the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that was just held recently. You can stop me anytime if you want to stop me. He was greeting. He was in the car. It was a military show of force by Xi Jinping. He was greeting his people. Comrades, I greet you. We greet you, President. The whole army was saying so. And he says, your duty is first to the, and they all said, the all. Millions of people, they said, to the people. Do you hear what I'm saying? To the people.
Okay, no.
That is our index, our measurement of economics, not what we're getting from the West. The people, the people, the people.
Once again, I'm gonna have to shut this down.
Right.
Dr. Malusi MNCUBE, thank you very much for showing, and thank you for making time to sit down with us at the Africa Dumi studio. Thank you to Tepi, Hutato, Prince, and Cliff, the director of the studio. Thank you, and I would really love another sit down with you, because I don't think this was enough. Because I still wanna have this kind of more relaxed conversational type of style, more than just an interview, because this is really special about your book. And
can I have closing words?
Yes, it's definitely. I was about to say, can you have closing words? Which camera can you look into? Closing.
I'd like to say to all the viewers and audiences, thank you very, very, very much. We're living in very Africans globally, and in Africa, we're facing an existential threat, an existential crisis, whereby you are seeing in real time it's happening. You are youth, you are intelligent. Genocide, it's something that is being done. What Leopold, the demon of Brussels, what he did to our people in the Congo, it's being done in Gaza, it's being done in Sudan. So the youth, you have to stand up. The youth, I can tell you, those who are in parliament, all the elderly leaders, as much as there's some good they've done, they're not going to do everything. You have to stand up with youth. But your standing up has to be intelligent, and you must be committed. It's going to be messy, but you must be highly, highly organized. You must organize every day, not every week. Every day you must organize, and don't be divided. So I would like to say to the youth of South Africa, the ANC youth, the EFF youth, the MK youth, the PAC youth, the AZAPO youth, the IFP youth, you must all come together. The black majority, organize. Don't be divided on party lines, no, and organize, because you face an existential crisis. And I wish you the very best. If you're organized, and you're committed and you're courageous, nothing will stop you. And be globally ambitious. Globally, not just nationalistic. Yes, you can be nationalistic, but you must be globally ambitious. That's the only way. We must emulate China. We must become a superpower. We must emulate America. We must become a superpower. I don't want our ambition to be as far as our nose. We must be globally ambitious. Thank you very much.
And then one more thing, for people that would like to reach you, to engage with you, to even buy the book.
They can have my cell phone. I don't mind. Can I mention my cell phone?
Yes, you can mention your
cell
phone.
Yeah, they can reach me on my cell phone. 078.
I'll put it down.
078-8681-451. Repeat, 078-8681-451. And on my email address, bmservicing123@gmail.com. B for black, M for mother, servicing, servicing 123@gmail.com. Let's interact. Google, do whatever you do. Find Pan-Africanist organizations, and you will find good and bad. If you see any bad, you improve it. Not just by talking, take action. Be a Chrisani, be a Marcus Garvey. Where we do mistakes, correct those mistakes.
I know we were supposed to close down. I know we were supposed to close down. So, Doc, I wanted to offer you something. You have so much to say, and there's a message that you need to relay. Under the Kids Cafe, we've started this thing called the Research Corner, where you get to sit down and you come and do your research and have your talks about your books and do your analysis of your books, and I would really like to offer you the space of it's either here Africa Dumi Studio or UJ Podcast Studio. So whenever you feel like you wanna say or spread a message, please feel free to contact me. I'll get cameras and audio available for you to do that because uh, personally I think uh, the whole school and a lot of people need to hear what you're saying because you are one of the people that inspire me to be not just become a better Africanist but ngibe nobuntu because ngibona ngawe on how humble you are and especially I've seen you on how you treat people. You have this one way of respect ukuthi whether you are talking to the dean or you're talking to a cleaner. I've seen you in the library where it's like your respect is always there and I respect you for that and I would really like to give you those
Thank you very much. Anything, inch by inch, anything to make Africa, South Africa, Africa a global superpower. It's going to take hard work. We must be a global superpower. I don't just want us to think as far as our nose. We must be global, a global superpower with our own nuclear weapons, with our own super economics, with our own cars, our own weapons, our own clothes, our own textile industry. So that is going to take us knowing each other in Africa, working together intelligently, and we are not going to condone criminality. Anyone who commits a crime must be arrested, whether it's me or anybody, right? But Africans, we must get together and we must become a global superpower. So anyone who's listening here, we must be a global superpower like China, like America. Please, nothing less. Thank you.
And guys, don't forget to like, subscribe on the channel. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast. Please don't forget to follow Africa Dumi Media, Media House. And then the rest of the crew, they part of the crew. Thank you, Tepi. Thank you, Hotato. Thank you, Hotato. Thank you, Prince. And then once again, Nyabonga Doc.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you to our ancestors.
Thank you to our ancestors.
To our ancestors, Africa's global ancestors. We're sitting here today because they sacrificed their lives for us.
Yes.
Our mothers in the villages, in the towns, in the industries where
yes.
we must remember them and call out their names.
Yes.
Every day.
Yes.
Every day.
I felt that message was so deep because your handshake was so firm.
Of course.